MSP. And every time I get to the acronym MSP, I always my mind just goes blank. Managed Service
Provider.
Provider.
That's right.
Always.
We're technically an MSSP to make it even more confusing. So Managed Security and Services Provider. Yeah.
What can we take from this question? How do we unpack this question for our different size small businesses in our community? Two Fish works with auto dealers, dentists, just a very wide range of different clients. How do you see your clients tackling this piece?
Yeah, I think so. There's kind of like a framework to kind of decide if you're at the point where you need IT services. Of course, I'm biased, and I think everybody does because I see the value every day for our customers. But one of the warning signs, I guess, or things to look for, if it's time to outsource or not, would be like if you have frequent issues or downtime, right? So that would be one thing that I would look for. If you have a key system that crashes all the time, or a server that probably is way out of date and covered in an inch of dust and nobody wants to touch it because they're scared of it, stuff like that. I think that's kind of a good kind of teller of
so hardware.
Like hardware downtime issues, stuff like that. So.
I wouldn't think about it that way. I would have thought that it would be like integrations and like, I don't know, making sure that you have proper antivirus or things like that. That would be where you start. And maybe that's part of it and the reason why your hardware starts to decrease in its efficiency or how quickly it runs.
Well, I think, to go to another point, like, it's kind of counterintuitive, but if you partner with an IT provider, sometimes your IT costs, like your actual realized cost, goes down. So one of the things that you can see if you don't have somebody there who has the expertise, which is another thing, like if you don't have anybody that has in-house expertise, we can get to that in a minute, your costs can actually skyrocket because you're paying maybe a software vendor, or you're paying Dell premium support, or you're paying, you know what I mean? Like, and that's incredibly expensive versus what like our hourly rate would be, or our contract rate, which we have some contracts that that rate is all in, it's all covered, so you don't even have to worry about it. So we can actually help kind of manage costs, give you a predictable cost, something to budget around.
And that's, we've done quite a few episodes on budgeting and trying to find that 3%, 5% place. I know Robert and I tried to go over that quite a bit, and it's a tough one because everyone's going to have a different idea of how they should spend their money in their small business. But what I'm hearing you say is that you're starting to see anomalies in how much you're spending, or if you keep seeing that spending ratchet up all the time. And that's where keeping dedicated records throughout the month is going to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. We got another one, Robert, if you want to take that one. That's a good one for you, I think. So.
Okay. So basically, let me take this back to more of a sales perspective. I think I'm more on the sales side than I am the technical side. I know that we kind of talk about that side. When I go in and I talk to a small business that might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 computers, I try to take them back into maybe a starting point. In a lot of cases, they don't think they spend very much because they haven't really defined what they spend. They don't really see the products that they're using and see the cost in that. And so I would start out with a conversation with the customer and let's just talk through exactly what you do. And so if you have a point of sale and your internet goes down and you're out of business, that's something that we need to address. And so the way that I kind of look at this is I try to say, okay, so where do you think that you are now? Let's figure out where you are now, because there's a lot of expenses that you might not be looking at or seeing, kind of like what Josh had just addressed. But I kind of look at it as, let's just start out with something I do this a lot, and we'll start off with what I consider to be the most important thing is just let's get your data on your bookkeeping software backed up.
Okay, backups. Y'all, that is what y'all always hammer first off.
It's
backups.
It starts down here, and
Yeah.
it's not real expensive. It's something that I think every single company, if you're a one-man shop, I think you have to do that. You have to start there, but when you look at it and you're thinking, an IT guy can cost me $100 an hour or $200 an hour. I mean, you got all these costs in your head, and you don't want to call the guy or doing whatever. But let's start off with, hey, if something does happen, maybe we can get you back on your feet in a reasonable amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
It's not really cause and effect, but cost and the effect of spending in that area. I mean, your point of a sole proprietor and just their machine that's it for them. And so if you don't have it backed up, how would you ever be able to put something back together?
Yeah, for sure.
It may never happen.
Yeah, and I run across people all the time that have, they'll say, well, I don't need your, whole security suite because, like a realtor, for instance, right? If they're, out there by themselves, they have a laptop or an iPad or something, and they're like, oh, everything's on the cloud. I don't need backups. I
we
don't
run
need all
into
this
that a
stuff,
lot.
right? We
Yeah.
hit it all the time,
Yeah.
but it's really like what would you do in case of like your laptop not booting up tomorrow, right? Where would you be? What would you do? Who would you call? Or just the security concerns in general of like what happens if you get an email with a bad link in it, right? Or something like that. Like, do you even know who to call? Like, do you know what your procedure would be? And that's all things that we bring to the table is that in-house experience, the in-house expertise. So, maybe you're a small office or something, like a medical office, for instance, right? And you don't have somebody who's familiar with HIPAA or any of those kinds of things. Well, instead of having to pay some outside expert bukus of bucks, that's part of what we do, right?
Or full salary to
Absolutely.
Yep.
someone that you're unsure about. I mean, it's Two Fish can be that chief IT officer in a box.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a fraction of the price.
Oh,
For a fraction of the price.
That's right.
yeah, yep. That does kind of bring me to like, I would say like the security concerns too. So, a lot of people think, oh, I have, like WebRoot, not to, cast shade on WebRoot, it's pretty good, but, like I've got WebRoot on my computer, I'm okay. And, all my files are I have a thumb drive that I back my QuickBooks up on or whatever, right? But they don't really fully understand like how, like ransomware malware gets into your machine. They don't understand how to take care of it if it's there. They don't understand, they just think, oh, I have this thing on my computer, so it's fine.
Should a and then we'll stick with just a sole proprietor. Should they increase their knowledge in that? I mean, we hope that you're watching this, the episodes like these, so you can help increase your knowledge. But if you don't know those things, it makes it even that much more important to have an expert that you can call. And I know Two Fish gives out great little green stickers with the phone number on there.
Phone number on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we find that in even a residential client. We find that in small business clients that look, if you just had a sticker that you had on the door, and you just had somebody to dial as soon as that happens, that's worth a lot. Because when you're down, and then all of a sudden, money kind of goes out the window once you decide that you're making none at this particular moment, because you can't do your business today, you can't get on the internet today, you can't do anything. So anyway, there's a whole lot of that. But I mean, going back to security and some of that type of stuff. I mean, small businesses that have a point of sale and they might only have a couple of employees, they still have to be PCI compliant. Maybe and if it's a small medical, maybe they have to be HIPAA compliant, and and all of those types of things require an expertise, and that's what our people do. That's what we do. We do that so you don't have to.
Yeah, and that was my original tagline, like way back in the day.
Yeah.
Was we do our job well, so you can do yours well.
job.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to like those time-consuming IT management things that maybe you're doing, and you maybe not even realize you're doing during the week, right?
Yep.
But it could be things that like backups or updates or installing a printer or adding a scan folder to your server from your copier. Like, it's just little stuff that you do that maybe you don't even realize you're doing, that on average, like we looked it up, it's an average of like 10 hours a week that you could potentially free up, not just one person necessarily, but like just in your in a typical
In a work
5,
environment, organization.
yeah, like 5-person, 10-person office. It's typically around 10 hours a week that you could save, that you could then turn that into like billable hours for your business. You know what I mean? Like what you're actually there to do. And so
how many of you have actually had a computer printer that was like Wi-Fi, and I couldn't get the Wi-Fi to work, and you sit there and fiddle with it for hours and hours, and you try to reload, and you try to figure out, is it a driver, is it the machine, and the machine you want to dump it anyway. So then the tech walks in the door, and in 3 minutes he walks out the door and it's fixed.
Yeah.
And you're going, okay, I should have done that a month ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
Update
the
driver.
expertise, even on something as silly as a printer, that is big.
Well, the frustration piece.
Yeah, the frustration.
For me, that's what frustrates me the most about working with electronics, is that why don't you work? You should work. And, when it doesn't, well, I just throw away the printer. No, I don't actually just throw away the printer, but, that's my feelings in the game.
Yeah, watching Office Space, always makes me want to do that. But yeah.
Feels good to be a gangster.
Yeah, I love that movie, by the way.
Now, Jamie. Oh, and I'm sorry. Jamie really keys in on the preventative ways that Two Fish helps.
Yeah.
And I think that's her point. What we were just talking about. We can see an issue formulating before it hits, and whether that's with
That's a good
your
point.
hardware or a network issue. It's that. The word surveillance is taken on a negative tone, but that's what it is keeping a constant eye on those things that you don't think about just wearing out or going wrong.
Yeah, it would be more of a proactive versus reactive, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, if you're constantly just reacting to things like after the fact, like it could be, you click on a bad link in your email, or, we dealt with an incident 2 weeks ago. We had a client that, their email, just randomly spammed like, 100 plus people, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's going?" It's like if you're constantly reactive to things versus proactive, like you kind of put yourself at risk, right? So even down to making sure your hard drive is in good shape, or we get alerts even if your hard drive's 85% full or whatever, and then we reach out and say, hey, let's get this on the schedule, let's upgrade it, whatever. I mean, just little stuff like that
That keeps a business flowing smoothly in what they do.
Yeah, it goes back to that marginal gains thing, right? So, we can over time just add a huge value just in the little stuff that we're able to be proactive on, I think. So keeps you out of harm's way, keeps you out of downtime, keeps you out of, stuff like that, where we can schedule those things instead of reacting to them in real time.
I really like that.
So what about Windows updates? What about knowing that your drive is getting full?
Yeah.
What about your temp files on your computer and all those things that we used to individually years ago? We used to do that ourselves, and we used to put these products on our computer and try to clean up the computer. It's a cleanup. We're trying to speed it up. We're trying to make the computer last longer. Well, how do our systems help that?
Well, we automate like 95% of that probably. So a lot of that process, like I said, we get the alerts if, a drive is starting to fill up, or if your computer's utilizing all of its RAM all the time, or whatever. With like Windows updates, we try to like through our list, we try to make sure based on whatever system you're running, or even hardware level or what kind of software you're running, we'll either approve or not some of the Windows updates just to make sure it doesn't cause issues in your system. Just stuff like that. So we're able to kind of automate and do those things kind of in the background. And I think a lot of what we do, like we have some customers that they never really call us, right?
Right.
And they love it because we're doing, and they're aware that we're doing these things in the background,
yeah.
and they don't have the issues that they used to have, and they're more than happy to just call us if they need us, or if they're growing or scaling or whatever it might be. And those are kind of the we love those relationships too, right?
Sure.
So,
yeah. I mean, that really does go. I mean, that is putting the money where your mouth is on. Let us do what we do, so you can keep doing your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, from a sales perspective, when I go in and talk to a small business the other day, they had 5 computers. They didn't think that they had the budget or anything to be able to utilize us. And so we started out with just backing up their QuickBooks and backing up their, the system that did their QuickBooks. Then they eventually called back and said, well, I think my husband and my manager's computer needs to be backed up. So then we did that. So then they just started growing. And so, and my entire point of this whole thing is that then us as a company wants to grow with you as a company.
Yeah.
We want to, so we grow together, we learn your systems, we understand what you do, we understand how you use your systems, and we do that a lot with every single customer. We learn what they are and what they do, and I mean, it just becomes a great relationship, and it makes life smoother for you. And and it's not all about price. It's about you becoming efficient at your job. And that's really the whole thing. Let us take care of this side, you take care of the other side, and that's really the promise that Two Fish offers.
Yep. Well, we're scalable, right?
We are scalable. I love growing with companies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're our best customers if they grow into 10 or 15 or 20 computers. They're great customers.
No, and it's just fun to watch. It's just fun to watch people take and
Absolutely.
Move something into a different scale of business. It's
well, and we build relationships with our customers probably to an extreme over maybe some other IT groups. Like, I mean, we're at the retirement parties, we're at the company events and all. We're there, we contribute to the things that matter to our customers too, and whether it's like nonprofits and things like that. Like, we're always trying to be active in their growth and in their community events.
And that's one thing I know Dave is really excited about is working with nonprofits, and we're hoping with Dave's help we're going to put together a group of topics to go over and help them.
Yep.
So that'll be coming in the future. We're really excited about that.
Yep. So cool. But I don't really have anything else. I will say real quick, because we have like a couple minutes. We never really addressed this, but I do want to address it really quick because I think there's some people that might be thinking I'm too small for this, right? And it really is like and we can close with it, I think, but like, managed IT services can legitimately be a game changer for your company because, like we said, it's scalable. You only pay for what you need with us most of the time, and it frees up your time to focus on your company and growth.
Do you think there's also a confidence boost in your customers, that they're more confident that now they don't have to have that in the back of my mind, what happens? What am I going to do? It's that I think that would be to be able to confidently step out and grow with the company.
Knowing you have somebody that has your back for everything from security and compliance and backups and IT maintenance and all of that stuff. Like, it's nice to
all the way down to fixing space bars. This last week, Josh and I worked on my space. It's working. Right. It's working.
Yep.
So they do good work.
Yep.
Dave, do we have another customer testimonial that you want to queue up?
Well, I'd love to direct everybody to our YouTube channel where we have a series of videos related to customer testimonials. Please check them out.
Yep.
Awesome. check out those customer testimonials. We've got product videos, and you can find all of our live videos at that YouTube, or, well, at this site, because we're streaming this on YouTube. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back again in 2 weeks and have a new topic for you. We're not sure what that's going to be yet. We will figure that out. But we hope everybody is having a safe summer and enjoying it, and we'll see you again. Thanks.